Okay, let's take a look at pyramids today. Pyramids are basically just a prism with a certain shape for a base, and they come to a point up at the top. So our formula for pyramids today is going to be pretty much the exact same thing as our formula for prisms, because if you remember from yesterday, prisms, the volume was just the area of the base times the height. Well, today, when we're talking about pyramids, we're going to take that second base of a prism and make it into a point, and by doing that, we just divide by 3. So really the only difference between prisms and pyramids is that divided by 3. Okay? We still have to know what the shape of the base is and what the area of the base is, and then we also have to be able to find the height. So a pyramid, if you notice, it will have a single base and it will come to a vertex or an apex point at the top. We don't have to, when we're talking about our volume, we don't have to worry about a slant height. We need to just make sure we are focused on our height that goes from the top straight down perpendicular to the bottom, and it's also known as our altitude. So let's dive right in. Here we have a pyramid, and if we look at our base, the shape of the base here on the bottom is a square. It's an 8 by 8 square, so our shape of our base is a square, which means the area of our base is going to be our 8 times 8, which is 64. So there's our capital B. The height from from the apex at the top, perpendicular straight down, is going to be 9. So to find our volume, we are going to take our area of our base, which is 64, times our height, and you cannot forget, divide by 3. That gets forgotten quite often. And so when we put that into our calculator, 64 times 9 divided by 3, we get 192, and it is volume, so it's going to be cubic, which means we are going to have centimeters cubed. Okay, so that's with a square base for a pyramid. Let's move on to a couple different shapes. Okay, if you look, here's our base again. Right here is our base. That base is a triangle. Okay, the area of the base is half the base times the height. So we are going to have half. The base and the height are perpendicular to each other, so 15 and 10. And if we take a half times 15 times 10, we get 75. So our area of our base is 75. Our height from the apex perpendicular down is 8. And so our volume is our area of our base times our height divided by 3. And when we put that into our calculator, 75 times 8 divided by 3, we get 200. And again, not to forget our labels, meters cubed. Okay, let's just look at a couple more here that have different shapes for our base. This one here, if you look, our base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. It's a 6-sided figure, which is a regular hexagon. If we have a hexagon, the area of that is going to be half the apothem times the perimeter. Remember, A is your apothem, P is your perimeter, just a reminder of that vocabulary from earlier in the unit. Okay, so the area of our base is going to be half the apothem, which is going to be this right here, goes perpendicular to the side, so that's going to be 5.2, times the perimeter. Well, the perimeter, each side is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. If we multiply that out, we get that the area of our base is 93.6. The height from top to bottom is 11, so the height of our pyramid is 11. And if we calculate our volume, it's going to be the area of the base times the height divided by 3, which is going to be 343.2 centimeters cubed. All right, one last problem here to do together just to make sure we know what we're doing. This time, We've got a pentagon for the base. Okay, the area of the pentagon is going to be half the apothem. Again, the apothem goes from the center to the outside, so that's going to be 4.8 times the perimeter. Well, each side of my pentagon is 7, so 7 times 5 is 35. And then when we multiply those out, the area of our pentagon is 84. The height from top to bottom is 12, so we are going to have a volume of the area of the base times the height divided by 3, which gives us a total of 336 kilometers cubed. So again, it's much like what we did with prisms, except actually I think pyramids are a little bit easier to visualize since there's not quite so many lines going like there was with our prisms. So good luck. There's a class kick for you to work on when you're done.